This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, head over to bigheadsmedia.com. Hi there, folks, and welcome to Podcast The Origin. It's a mini-series here on our pod where we talk about Gundam, The Origin, the OVA series, and discuss it. I'm your host,
For the
Swanson.
last time.
And with me, as always, is my co-host and man who just had all of his data on this new mobile suit taken, Stairmaster.
Oh, jeez. Now how am I going to find out what this giant robot with guns is for?
Yeah, it's anyone's guess. Could be a humanitarian thing, I think. And with us, as always, is our other co-host and guy who is really excited about getting into the war, even though his father doesn't want him to, Kyo-Rain.
Yeah, I think this war is probably a good thing.
Now it's your chance.
Yeah, you're really excited to sort of show that other guy, show that Char up.
I'm gonna rise up through the ranks, and I'm gonna be a little ruthless, if I do say so myself.
Do some minor war crimes.
Yeah, I might just go slaughter some civilians. Make sure none can survive.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that any audience sympathy that I might have garnered in the last films are completely destroyed before the end of the film.
I'm just going to crush an innocent woman with the shell casing from my tank.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Look, I'm very insecure, and I'm gonna say that a lot of times so you understand it.
I just want my sister to think I'm cool and maybe kiss me.
I hope there's no incestuous subtext there.
No. There's only one person he wants a kiss from. Char. So yes, welcome to the last installment of Gundam The Origin. Should it have been the last? Well, we'll find out.
They could make more.
Now, actually, I think they could not make more. They literally scraped the bottom of the barrel for this one.
Well, the thing is, like I said, this is based off of Gundam The Origin, the manga, which is a straight-up retelling of the first series, starting from episode 1, of course. So if they wanted to, they could just keep going.
Yeah. Well, I guess it wouldn't be bad. But you could just go watch Gundam instead.
Do you recommend that, Kyo?
Yeah, which Kyo's already done.
Yeah, I'm, what episode am I at? I think I'm at episode 23 of 0079.
We just call it First Gundam.
I'm a big fool. I haven't watched any of it yet other than what we watched for our episode of TV Tuners.
Betrayal.
Well, I mean, I was waiting to finish this movie, which I watched before recording. And you guys watched it like weeks before.
You heard about all the episodes where they're collecting salt in the desert and got spooked.
Yeah, I heard about the episode where he's on a beach.
And he learns martial arts from a Zeon defector.
And I was like, that's too cool.
You heard about...
I got to the classic moment where Ryu jumps onto White Base.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you watched that episode where they put the bomb on the Gundam, and the entire episode just about them getting the bomb off, and there's no giant robot fights.
It wasn't the bomb, it was like they put a whole bunch of bombs on the Gundam.
Okay, a collection of bombs, an assortment, an arrangement.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes the problem seem way bigger than if they just put a single bomb on a Gundam, and then it took them a whole episode to get it off.
And Amuro was remarkably calm in this situation where the bombs could explode at any moment. He was just kind of like, yeah, I gotta get these bombs off the Gundam.
Well, he's already died. On the inside, I think.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's still got a little bit of spark left in him.
Most of what I've seen from Gundam is Amuro going, "Ah!" So
true.
So I don't know if he's died too much from it.
You're right. He's still more psychologically intact than Shinji gets at the end of Eve, I think.
Well, yeah, but that's like a whole psychological. Evangelion is like way more interested in the psychological aspects than the original Gundam, right?
And also, I think Shinji has it harder, I think.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Evangelion is about is a program where the end point is to have a broken boy.
Yeah, that's what we call a broken boy program. Classic BB.
Oh, so like The Sopranos.
Well, that boy was broken at the beginning and stayed broken. I guess, yeah. It's more like corruption, though, right? Like that boy, it's a broken boy who gets corrupted.
Yes, he's a broken boy. Well, the thing is, he has the panic attacks, which are basically his subconscious guilt, but by the end of the series, he doesn't feel those anymore.
True.
It's just sad.
Is Breaking Bad a broken boy program? I mean, it's where we get the moniker from, but...
Well, his lungs are broken.
Huh. Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
Walter White himself is not a broken boy at any point, I don't think.
But Jesse is, I guess. Broken.
Yeah, numerous times.
Yeah, when you think about Breaking Bad, it's sort of like Gundam.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean...
The El Camino is a Gundam of cars.
Does that make... Are we saying Walter White is Char?
He's Tim Ray.
Tim Ray is not important. Listen, I know I haven't watched the original series, but I don't think he's...
No, but I think Tim Ray would make very similar decisions to Walt.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could compare the Gundam with Blue Math. There's some kind of comparison you could put there.
All I'm saying is Tim Ray would not make Heisenberg, but Char pretty much has his own Heisenberg, which is Quattro Vagina.
Also Char.
Well, also Char.
Yeah, Char is the...
I guess he is the original Walter White. If that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, the original anti-hero.
The first
is Quattro Vagina Char being bad or being
that's him trying to be a good guy.
Yeah, I guess that's Family Walt then.
Yes, and like Family Walt, he fails miserably.
Yes,
because he's just constantly lying all the time, and everyone knows it.
When you think about it, the final season of Breaking Bad is just Walt's counterattack.
Yes.
True facts. Yes. Wait, Stare, I have a question for you before we move on from this very specific TV reference conversation we're having.
How about the most famous TV show of our generation?
It's still very specific. Anybody who didn't watch it's going to be just like completely upset with us right now.
Char Aznavour is John Hamm from Mad Men.
Yes, also that.
Probably. I was going to say is does Char have a Ozymandias moment at some point?
Yes, but it's completely off screen, which is like the greatest problem with the Universal Century storyline.
Oh,
yikes!
Spoilers for Mad Men. Don Draper does steal his identity from a dead man, so Char and him are connected in some way.
Yes,
interesting.
And Char would probably do very well in advertising.
Yeah, he would almost as well as Don Draper. Some would say.
If Gundam was just like a show about like being business guys, I think.
Oh man,
I think Char would do very well in that environment.
Oh, that spinoff would be very popular with the Doujin artists, specifically the Boys Loves ones. They get to draw Char and Garma in suits.
Yeah, they would love that. So yes, we are talking about the final installment of Gundam: The Origin. Yes. It is entitled The Rise of the Red Comet. And it sure is a thing that happened. It was a movie.
It's odd that it's titled that because, the moment that caused him to rise, it's in the first film and not this. Instead, we get a very truncated version of his exploits during the Battle of Loom.
Yeah.
Which it's like the first 30 minutes of this film. It's like a Revenge of the Sith situation here.
Yeah, and it is, I'm going to just say up front, the most interesting part of the film.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's like a fun...
film series has been leading up to.
It's a film. It's a fun little battle. We also get a shorter recap, which is just pretty much recapping the last movie and not the last 5.
Okay, so where are we at the start of this? The advanced guard of Zeon's fleet has been basically wiped out, and Dozol's had his fleet turn away. And we get some scenes of the Federation not being able to track them because of Minotsky particles.
A couple things. Dozol is so mad that he almost breaks off the bars holding like his little commander's seat.
Yeah,
I think he's been working on those bars for a while. Like I think he compulsively like just nervously rips things.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Now,
except like you don't have like gorilla arms.
Stair's working on getting Dozol arms.
Getting that Dozol bod. You may not like it. It's a new peak performance. Looks like
it's a new fitness plan called the Dozol bod. So
look, I'm in favor, Stair. Like, live your truth, buddy.
Thank you.
They've mentioned this a couple times about Minovsky particles. What exactly are these, Stair?
So the mobile suits have their fancy Minotsky reactor. That involves a fusion process that, as a byproduct, creates these particles that block, like, radio waves and other forms of light. So basically, you have to use visual forms of locating things, like the human eyeball. You can't use radar or anything when you have a big Minotsky reactor running.
So this was pretty much. This wasn't. I guess this wasn't Dozol's plan, but it's a great backup plan.
No, the plan. No, it is part of his plan, because he forms that single line after this, and that's how he sneaks up, because they only see one ship plume from the rockets on the back.
So his plan was to get a whole bunch of people killed?
Yes. Well, that's war.
Well, that makes it a little worse when he's crying about them dying.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the point of that was. I guess it was just.
I think the point is that Dozel's like a not smart guy.
I guess he was just hoping that TMN would just be content with mopping up those guys instead of looking for the rest of them, so he could sneak up on Rebel's fleet.
And I guess
I got the impression that he just didn't think through the implications of what he was doing on an emotional level.
I guess that's true. That tracks with how he reacted to the colony drop. So
yeah. So anyways, they're traveling single file. The Federation can't find him.
Yeah.
And then Dozol just comes up like broadsiding Rebel's ship.
Before that, though, we finally get some Char. They make this battle go on for a good bit before we get to the Char factory. And Char shows up, takes out one ship, and then he's gone for another 10 minutes of action.
Yes. Instead, we get a bunch of other guys. The black Tri-Stars and a bunch of red shirts.
Yeah. At first, I was tapping my foot. I was like, "Where's Char?" But then I realized once Char shows up and starts easily destroying ships, that what they were showcasing here in a way is how hard it is for all the normal mobile suits to take down just a single ship, and Char is doing it effortlessly.
Oh yes, yeah. Char is just 360 no-scoping these ships, getting the...
Yeah, the entire Tri-Stars, all three of them, have to work together to take out one ship. And Char zooms in and just takes out one with a single shot.
Yeah.
He's such a show-off. I'd be so... I understand whether everyone hates him around him. They're just
they
this
do.
guy making us look so... That's what I'm saying. I'd be right there with him. This guy is making us look bad.
Yeah, it's not any better when, one dude who is clearly, this guy could use my ammo more than me, tries to give it to Char, and Char is like, no, why don't you focus on your own glory, chump?
Well, he also says, hey, you were working for Rambo Rel, right? So I think he was doing that guy, Rambo Rel, a favor by helping his
goof troop.
Yeah, his goof troop out.
Yeah, so...
Disclaimer, Goof did not exist at this time.
Yeah.
They were not developed until, 4 months from now. When, yeah.
There's also a little bit of, I don't know, it's not even a runner, it's just a single scene that seems there because they wanted to pad out the thing a little bit, where a guy is floating in space.
Oh, Well, that's like a little subplot. The recon pilot guy.
Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
I liked the bit where he talks about people dying and becoming trash.
Yeah. That's Gundam for you.
Yeah. And presumably he dies.
Who knows? It doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, I mean...
It don't matter.
There's also 2 separate sequences. Char does it, and then someone else does it too, where they just kick an escape ship, and it just destroys it.
These are space fighters, like X-Wings, that they're kicking.
Oh, okay. And they just kick them, and they just get destroyed.
Well, Char loves to kick things. He does it in every mobile suit he pilots, except for the one without legs.
Oh, he must have been real pumped out about that one.
He tried to make it kick, but he realized it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It was just
Does he do a punch?
It looks like humping, and everyone just got skeeved out.
It was very powerful, but it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
Char, what are you doing? Ah!
So yeah, the battle seems all but lost for these guys.
Yeah, I mean they do get a few good hits in. Like the space bombers do blow up a couple of Zeon ships.
Yeah, but mostly it is a massacre. And Giran is watching this, and he's like, "Great times, great times. Too bad the fighting cannot end."
Yeah.
And there's like a conversation afterwards with him and Degwin, where Degwin is like, "All right, well, we've shown them our might, so they'll definitely agree to all of our demands." And Giran's like, yeah, but what if instead we keep fighting until we completely defeat them?
What if we kill them all?
And he compares them to
what
like...
if this war just didn't stop?
He compares Giran to like Napoleon, and Giran's like, history has no bearing here.
Which, to be fair, after the Battle of Loom, you do have to rethink some things about military history, at least.
I just love the idea. I didn't know for a fact if Hitler actually existed in the Gundam timeline, but he does, yes. And they're just like, yeah, we're gonna make our iconography look like his.
Yeah, so it means that Degwin is aware of who Hitler is through history, and still decided to.
Kia, that's strange, because in 079, there's a scene later on where Degwin's like, "Hey, Giran, do you know who Hitler is?" And Giran is like, "Oh, I think I've heard of him. He was some dictator from the Middle Ages, right?" So different interpretations here of the character. I'm
pretty sure he was just like, yeah, whatever, Hitler, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Degwin is the one who brings up these historical figures, and Giran, Giran might as well not even know who they are by the way he reacts to it. So. So yeah, there's this whole bit where Garma is, like really excited about the war effort. Is like, I want to prove myself.
He gets kind of like peevy at this ball when all the women are losing it at Char's mere visage.
Oh yeah, everyone fucking loves Char now. Everyone is like all in on Char. That he's a war hero. They're all like, great job, everybody. Yes, but especially Char, great job to you. And so they're at this like ball or whatever, and all these ladies are around Char, and then Garma shows up and makes like a huge scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this moment where Garma shows up. Char turns away from the ladies to talk to Garma, and they just sort of leave. And
leave.
The way that the scene is emotionally charged between Char and Garma, if they had immediately cut to the two of them like in bed, it would have made sense.
Yes, agreed.
They like my headcanon is that they had sex immediately
later
after
that
this. like right there, like right after.
Char was being like, "You were a little brat in there, huh?"
How could you talk to me like that?
Good luck with your military conquest of wherever the fuck that place is.
Yeah, whatever random place that was.
I think that's Loom itself. We see
he just
Garma
massacres.
invading later on. Yeah. We get that scene from Gundam F91 where a woman is crushed to death by a shell casing.
Oh, there's also, retracing our steps a little bit, I forgot about this line from Dozle at the end of the fight scene where he's like, nothing personal, this is just how war goes.
Yeah.
Over, like, the final ships being destroyed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, importantly, Admiral Revel gets captured by the Black Tri-Stars.
Yeah, and he becomes a POW that Degwin is hoping will lead to peace.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a great plan. He confides in Caecilia about this.
Yes.
And that's an even worse idea than just not saying anything.
Is this where we get Makuv?
Yeah, this is a Gundam character, I take it?
Yes, he's like the Commandante. He's like the commander of the Earth Occupation Force in 079.
Yeah, he's introduced looking at a museum's like works and being like, that's fake. Yes. Doesn't exist.
These are all historical artifacts that he's obsessed with.
Yeah, and he gets I guess commissioned by Caecilia to go do the peace talks.
Yes.
To purposely fuck them up, technically.
That's the thing about this movie. It makes it sound like there is actually a chance for peace. What's that? Which I really don't think could happen after you've killed half of the Earth's population.
Yeah, it's really weird that, like
maybe an armistice for, like, a couple months while they get their shit together, but...
Yeah, I don't think...
I mean, it depends on what the terms are. I'm pretty sure, like, the Earth Federation would have demanded, like, every single one of them to be put on trial, right?
Yeah, if they want. Well, they can't force them to go to trial. They don't have... At this moment in history, no. I don't think the Earth could do much demanding, but if Zeon was like, all we want is independence, I think the Earth Federation would be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
So that would be peace?
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure, like, the Earth Federation would have wanted them on trial, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Killing half the world population.
Which is why, if they did come to peace, it would only last for, like, maybe a year or so before the Earth Federation came back for revenge.
Oh, just in time for the next Gundam series.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk from Degwin and Giran in this about Daikun and his legacy, which feels particularly... I really like this bit here where they're just sort of using him as a crutch for justifying their various means.
Yeah.
Because he would have hated, like, all of this, I'm pretty sure.
Probably. It was about the next stage of human evolution. This is just barbarism.
Yeah.
Technological
also because
barbarism.
It hasn't been confirmed or anything, but, like, I'm pretty sure the Zabis had a hand in his death, right?
Yes, it's basically almost said in the first film that they did that.
There is no other suspect
yes.
presented to us.
Yeah.
Maybe he just had a heart attack.
Also, I guess now is the time to bring this up, because you did mention Rambo a little bit. 0 appearances in this film.
No. What a shame.
Like, you're setting up for Gundam, of which Rambo Rao is like
it's like
a figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just not in it at all.
He's hanging out, is what I'm going to say about Rambo.
He's like a formative figure for Amuro.
Yeah.
And
he teaches him that the other side has some interesting people in it, I guess.
And also that you can have sex with a lady without marrying her.
An important lesson that we all need to learn at some point in our lives.
Did Amuro know they weren't married?
I feel like he was picking up on the vibes.
He's like, whoa!
What's going on here?
The unmarried vibe?
I think he just... Or maybe he was just like, haha, I'm in danger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was just like, these guys, if they knew who I was, they would kill me.
You can think multiple things at the same time.
Yeah, so I guess, like, as a teenage boy, he has to be thinking, like, wow. There's a chance I could get sex out of this.
But he's worried that that he'll have to do it with Ramba. You know, like,
with Rambo watching.
No, yeah. Or maybe they're like, teaming up and they have to high five at the end. And Admiral's just like, oh god, I hope our balls don't touch.
And the entire time, Rambo-Rao's like doing the American Psycho flexing in the mirror.
No! That would be Char. And if it was Char, there would be no woman involved.
It's just him. So yes, they decide to spring. Caecilia does this whole thing here where they spring Revel, and they make it seem like the Federation did it.
Yeah, because Dagwin thinks that he'll talk out for peace at the upcoming conference. Yeah,
well, and that's an idea. That's a good one. That's a good idea. I think it sounds smart.
Yeah, take this Admiral, right? He's Admiral.
Yes.
Yeah.
This Admiral that you've humiliated and just set him out there, and he'll do the peace.
And also personally saw firsthand how many losses you took during the battle.
Yeah.
And probably read intelligence dossiers about your war making potential. Economics.
I think he's gonna make the peace happen.
Meanwhile, Dozel is like, yeah, they're sending that asshole McQuave down to Earth. Glad they didn't send you, Char, because I got a special project for you. Pretty much, it's all set up for why Char has a ship at the beginning of Gundam, right?
A ship with this mask on the bridge.
Yeah. So yeah, he is sent to go investigate about this Operation V project.
Yes, which in 079 was the Gundam, the gun tank, and the gun cannon. But in the Origin, the last two, the gun cannon and the gun tank, are already in mass production.
Yeah, very strange. So as he is hanging out, there's this fun bit here where he makes this person his acting. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
His acting commander, but then also just tells him everything to do.
Yeah. No, you're in charge of the ship, but you better watch yourself.
You're in charge of the ship.
That's what we call a flex.
That's also what he does in Zeta Gundam.
You're in charge of the ship. Now fire warning shots at that ship.
Oh yeah, we get this completely useless subplot about them intercepting the ship Revel's escaping on.
It might be the most useless thing in the whole movie, because what does he need to know about this?
Nothing. It's just
it doesn't inform anything he does in Gundam, does it?
No. This is like Anakin building C-3PO levels of...
Yes. It's one of those, Anakin hung out with C-3PO and also Boba Fett is here type of deals.
Oh, or that deleted scene where Anakin gets into a fist fight with Greedo as a child in episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes onto this ship, and the people there are all like,
oh!
because they literally heard all about how he destroyed.
They literally saw him firsthand.
Yeah. This one guy decides that he's gonna try and be a hero and attack Char, and Char immediately almost blows his entire hand off.
Yes, with a laser gun.
Yeah, that man's hand is permanently ruined, right?
Yeah, I think laser guns appear once in 079. I mean, handheld ones.
Oh, impressive. So Revel shows up, and Char is like, "Oh," and I like the bit where you can sort of see the gears clicking in his head, and then he's like, "Huh, all right, well, you I didn't realize you were here. On your way, sir." And he leaves, and one of the people is like, why are we letting them go? And he's like, well, I wouldn't, there's a beautiful piece of political theater going on right now. I'm not going to ruin it.
Yes, this is a treasure ship too rich for my blood.
Yes. It's essentially, the entire scene is essentially Char being like, game, recognize game.
Yeah. I think that guy's hand who he blew off was one of the agents working for Caecilia.
I like to believe it is, just because...
the saga continues.
Yeah, exactly. Because what's she going to do about it?
Yeah.
Char is like a decorated war hero at this point. Yeah. You can't just kill him.
Yeah.
So we cut to
the war hero.
Yeah, he's the only war hero. Like the Tri-Stars, like some people are like, yeah, they're cool, but it's all Char. Char's on like the cover of magazines at this point.
The Tri-Stars are like Eric Carter and, Char's Michael Jordan.
Yes. Yeah, so we get some Amuro here in another mostly pointless thing. I guess it's mainly here so that we can be like, This is why Amuro doesn't know all that much about the Gundam at the beginning of the series.
Well, it seems like he should know.
Well, I think he spent a fair bit of time with that stuff already.
Yeah, he should probably know more than he does in the actual series, where he stumbles upon him and is like, huh?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect there,
with all this stuff going on, he should probably know how to pilot it a little bit more than he does.
Yeah, I mean, he should at least know enough not to cut a mobile suit in half and blow up part of the base. So yeah, Amuro is driving down the street. He gives some wise words to Kai after Kai confronts him to not stand in the street. Mm-hmm. Amuro says, "Don't stand in traffic." So yeah, he confronts, he goes to the base to confront some people, or to get some questions, really. Yes, pretty much. And,
that was a mistake.
Yeah, so this guy is pretty much like, what do you know about the Gundam?
Oh yeah, this guy, William Kemp.
Yeah, is he
completely
important?
Pointless no.
So they give him a name.
He's the test pilot for the Gundam and gets killed off screen in the origin.
Alright, sure. Why not?
I think he appears in the manga during this flashback part, but he doesn't appear in the Gundam part.
The government decides that they're going to move all the stuff out of the Ray household. They kick Haro for good measure. We're a bunch of rude boys.
That's proof that they're bad, by the way.
Yeah, you can't do that to Haro. So yeah, they go, they take all their stuff. Amuro comes back and is like, they moved it all. It's all gone. Damn.
And that's the end of his story, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Really sets him up for the opening the Gundam, where he is just, I don't know, doing tech stuff still.
Yeah.
He's like putting computers together, having a good old time.
I reread.
Not eating.
Well, I reread Chapter 1 of The Origin, and he's looking at the Gundam data and that. I don't remember in 079 what he's doing on the computer.
He was like rebuilding a circuit or something.
Yeah, he was just being a neat.
The kind of neat that does like advanced computer work.
He needs some hobbies.
He's just sort of hanging out. I mean, by that era, Kyo, is it advanced computer work still, or is it just normal computer work?
I guess so, but usually when you call somebody a neat, you don't imply that they have, like, skills that could easily get them a job.
I don't know. Look at VTubers. Half of them are neats, and they're all Renaissance women.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, I think that the standard for neat's a little different for women, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot to talk about this. I just looked at it in my notes. During that scene with Dozel and Char, there's a little, like, dossier creating robot that pops up from the table. I wanted to know more about this little creature.
Oh my god,
it was such a nice little touch. It's a little secret robot that spits out some secrets, and then you give it back to it and it destroys them.
It munches them up.
It was it was so great.
I don't think that's any other Gundam thing.
That's what we call technology, fellas.
Technology at its finest. But what made me think of that was that we get a bit here where we see a colony that's been built in Antarctica. This sort of artificial city.
An arcology is the term.
Yes. Called Scott City.
Enter the Explorer.
Yes. And this is where the ceasefire agreements are going to be talked about until Revel shows up and is like, no ceasefire, more war. Zeon has exhausted all of its resources, we think.
Which is kind of true, but this film does not do a good job of illustrating his point, I don't think, because it shows more of the Federation getting his ass kicked than Zeon does.
Yeah, he urges the Federation to continue the fight. Degwin sees this and flips out. Garma is like there, and he's like, Garma, you go and kill every last one of them. Like, it's such a 180 from earlier when he's just like, Garma, war is terrible, and you must not participate in it.
Yeah, well, now he offended his pride.
He trusted that guy.
Yeah, betrayal.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's what he watches this on TV and he says betrayal. And then he goes and sends his son off to a probably bleak fate.
We didn't mention that they had like kind of an agreement between them.
Oh yeah, they do agree not to use weapons of mass destruction, and this lot is a huge success.
Yeah.
No. I mean, he meets with Revel in his cell.
Yes. Okay.
And he's like, we should probably try to do peace. And Revel's like, I agree with that. I think we should do peaceful.
Oh, yeah.
But Revel never actually agrees to it, is the thing. Degwin just assumes that he did, because all Degwin says is like, maybe you, but I'm just a prisoner.
Yeah, And Degwin's
or not
like,
Degwin,
yeah.
All Revel says.
And Degwin's like, yeah, I understand. Wink, 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 wink. And he starts elbowing Revel. Get it? Get it?
And the entire time Revel's just like, yeah, whatever, man.
And then he turns to the guards and he's like, I'm going to break this guy out.
Yeah, Revel's just like, yeah, peace, yeah. Anyways, I'm in prison. Hopefully I don't die here.
So then, what we get is essentially, yeah.
So the Scott City, that's named after Robert Falcon Scott, who led the famously doomed Antarctic expedition.
They were like, you know what? Yeah. They're like, you know what? Let's name it in honor of this guy.
You got to give him some credit for trying. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, to his credit, at least he didn't like kill a bunch of natives and then get a city named after him.
Well, I think they killed a few polar bears. Oh, wait, no, that's not in Antarctica. Sorry.
If there were native Antarcticans, he probably would have killed them.
I feel like they would be very hardcore.
Yeah, you would be killed by them.
Yeah, those guys would have to be new types of their own.
So yes, there is what we get at the end here is essentially the ending to like a frat house
Animal
movie.
House?
Yeah, it's like and Amuro was sent off into the Gundam. It's like Kai died in Vietnam.
He was shot in the back by his own men.
Yeah, we get like this is the whole squad of Side 7, and this is what they do.
Oddly enough, they give Sayla's fate, but they use the 079 version of events, where she's a core fighter pilot, instead of the Origin, where she actually does get a mech of her own.
Well, women can't. You know how it goes there. Women can't do the Gundams, the mobile suits and mechs.
You true.
No good.
Yeah, like Sayla's got like a 5-minute limit on being in the Gundam. After that, Amuro's got to hop back in.
The Zaku's will be driven berserk by the scent of a woman.
That did remind me that Sayla has a very small plot here where all it is she says that she's leaving to go to Side 7 to continue her medical career.
Oh yeah, that's her. Yeah, she talks to the hospital boss and she's like, and the hospital boss is like, hey, Side 7 has no hospital. Why don't you go over there to work and provide medical care?
And she's like, all right.
Which is very weird, considering how big Side 7 is.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if one of those old people has a heart attack, like Fra's parents?
They just shrug, I guess, and accept
it. Rest in peace.
They make the grave.
The cosmos has claimed her. She must fight for her life.
Yeah, pretty much. And the answer to can they survive is no, because they're old.
Yes.
So yes, that's all we get of Sayla in this, which I guess, hey, more than we get of Ramba.
And then we get this credit montage.
Yeah. So we get a whole shot of everybody. Frambo is hanging out in a...
They're hanging out like one of those Japanese canals you see in anime.
Yeah, she's doing what she does best, hanging out with children and raising them instead of parents.
Which is what she gets credited as in this montage.
Yes, noted mother. They're having like their own regular beach episode. Like Kai and his whole gang are just hanging out by the beach. Kai is like listening to the very speech that we just heard.
Yeah,
is like, looks like war is happening still.
This is whack.
Amuro gets offered to join them, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, leaves.
No, I'm depressed.
Then
we get the credits.
Yeah, there's a whole credits sequence, which is...
This is like some... what genre of rock is this? I guess this is just rock.
Yeah, I think it's just regular rock.
And we get a montage of Sion invading the Earth.
Complete with Garma in front of the Hollywood sign.
He's so happy.
It's the happiest he'll ever be.
And we get Mkuv driving in front of the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah.
Sort of like Hitler.
Great times. And then we end with a completely pointless stinger.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to make sure that you are aware that this is actually setting you up for Gundam and not really ending its own thing. They show you the whole, like, base of operations for most of Gundam. Yeah, you see the
white base. Bright and Captain Doomed are there.
Yeah.
Jem is in his bunk, looking at a photo of Amuro.
Yeah, they even give Bright his own sort of Animal House credit.
Yes, even though we are already past that point.
And yeah, Tem gives a nice little speech of acceptance to Amuro. Unfortunately, it's just to a picture of him.
Oh, I've made life so hard for you, Amuro.
Hopefully nothing bad happens to me personally before I can make amends with you.
The most hopeful Gundam music is playing during this scene. Like, it's from it's like from the opening episode of 079. Too.
And that's all that's the end of that. And then the little teaser says, Gundam begins now, or something like that.
Okay, so important to note, we do not see the Gundam.
No, not in any of these, right?
No.
We haven't earned it.
We could have seen the Gundam.
What? If you're going to give me a post-credits scene, show me the Gundam. What? Why not? Have some people be like, wow, it's complete.
You gotta watch the Gundam program. You can't just
you can't see the Gundam in this modern animation style. Instead, you have to go back to 1979 and check out the Gundam there.
Yeah, drawn by some guy who's gotten 4 hours of sleep during the last week.
Yeah.
Because every episode is behind production schedule.
Yeah, and had to draw it on construction paper.
The series director himself had to draw it.
Yeah, you can watch that instead. There's your Gundam.
Yeah, as it should be.
That's what God's plan.
So yeah,
are you gonna question God, Swanson?
God, bow before me.
I'm gonna tell God to bow before me.
Fair.
So yes, that is the end of the entire series of Gundam: The Origin. What are our thoughts on this final film?
Well, I'm still of the opinion they should have stopped at 4.
I kind of agree. 5 would have been like an okay ending, I guess, but 4 was like the real conclusion, and then they were just like, let's tack on 2 more and make them longer.
Yeah, by 4 you already had the important pieces set up. Like, the most important thing that happens in these last 2, it's a colony drop, and that gets explained in 079.
Also, with 4, as opposed to these other 2 movies, there's at least, like, a decent ending point to character arcs.
Oh, yes. And you get the bookends of Char and Lala and Amuro and Fra.
Yeah. Like, at least it feels like there's a character arc that is seen through the 4 movies. And then these last 2, there's less of that.
Yeah. What do you think, Keo?
I didn't really have any of the complaints you guys had. I thought this last episode was pretty high.
I didn't like the plate setting aspect of it. The table setting going on here. It's a bit too obvious.
It feels like I was watching, like, Phantom Menace before watching any of the other Star Wars movies. Where it was just like, hey, look at that. Look at that. You see that?
I mean, if you had watched this without knowing what it was, I don't know if you would have noticed that. I think there's a cognitive element to that where you're aware of what they're doing because they told you what they were doing, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. It's just...
But if it was just its own story, I don't see like why any particular cutoff point would have been a cutoff point. You could have ended it really anywhere, honestly.
Yeah. Or
you could have ended it with Char and Sayla going to Earth.
That also would have been a fine cutoff point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that the reason that all of the other 5 films work as good cutoff points and this one does a little less is because this one is just a lot of... These are all of the last pieces we could think of that connect to Gundam, so here
Leftovers.
They are. And also, like, it's introducing characters who don't need introductions just because they were in the original series.
I think this film should have ended with, like, episode 1 and 2 of 079. Like, that would have been a better ending point, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Give us the actual fucking Gundam.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been cool. If they just, like, I don't know, just animated all of 007.
Oh, that'd also be very cool.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. That's good stuff. Including that episode that we on the beach.
Just give us, like, a lot of episodes on the beach, actually.
So yeah, I would, I guess I would still give this a light tune-in, but it was probably the weakest for me of the 6 movies.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a tune-in. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think that hearing people whine about, people as in Stairmaster whine about how it could have been over, tainted it.
Oh, Keo's got some Snyder Cut mentality going on here. I think.
Make it longer. Release the Tomino cut.
Oh, I would love that. Oh, they did. He wrote a novel. He wrote a series of novels.
That's not a cut. That's a book.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not gonna read. If Zack Snyder released a series of novels, no one's reading that.
You shouldn't read them. They're written awfully. But I will tell you,
just like if Zack Snyder wrote a series of novels.
I will tell you, they are famous because Amuro dies like halfway through the 3rd book, and Char has to take over as a hero.
Oh
my god,
that's on his own.
That's an interesting arc.
And also, Amuro dies because of Char's fuck up.
So Tomino just confirms that Char is actually the character he cares about. I mean, in those ones.
I mean, is he wrong too? I mean, really, the show does not work without Char.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's my official stance on this. It sounds like altogether, though, this is a tune-in.
I guess we've come so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are our thoughts on the series overall? Is it a worthy installment? Does it get you hyped for Gundam? I mean, obviously it worked for me and Keo because we're gonna watch more Gundam, but
I think so. Yeah, I think this is. I mean, yeah.
I think this is a really good place to start watching Gundam as somebody who's started watching Gundam with it.
Yeah,
I was going to ask Keo how he felt about watching Gundam after this, but he already said. Especially the part.
It's an interesting experience going through an animation downgrade, but you get used to it.
You get used to it. Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good place to start. It gives you elements of what you can expect from the series. It does make you wait a good while for those robo fights, but
and you don't get to see the Gundam.
And of course, you have to wait for the aforementioned downgrade to see the Gundam. But
and also, this is not on any streaming services in the West. Big oof.
Yeah, you can find it though. Trust your instincts.
And if that doesn't work, ask me on the Discord.
Yeah. Or just DM Stairmaster.
Yeah, like whenever I ask Stairmaster for something, he sends a selfie of himself wearing a trench coat.
And there's a bunch of DVDs. inside. And my exposed genitals.
Yeah, and then like he puts a quote, like some text in quotes, and it says, "Do you want the goods?"
and winky face.
Daddy's got the stuff.
And I'm like, all right, I just wanted a link to watch the program, and you're sending me this picture, and I'm like, yes, I want the goods. And then he sends another selfie, and then I don't want to get into that one.
There's a lot of spreading involved.
Yeah, let's just say it's a real starts with a G, ends with an Otzi situation.
And then I send Keo a photograph of a note card, which is a URL to a torrent, and Keo's like, I just want to stream it, okay? I don't care about video quality that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a 4K TV to pop this onto. I'm trying to watch this on my computer.
Like we all do.
Yes.
All right, so that's it for this installment of our Gundam talk. But hey, it's not the last time we're going to be talking Gundam here on our bonus episodes.
What?
There was
That's
a
right.
7th coffee, just like there was a 7th Gundam. According
That's
to
right.
The model
It's like
kits.
the seventh Chaos Emerald.
Not next time around, but later sometime in the future, when Kyo and I have both seen some Gundam, perhaps. We will be watching Char's Counterattack.
The greatest film ever made.
I wonder why he's so angry. I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what reasons he has for counterattacking.
Who's he going to counterattack?
And why?
That's another good question.
The answer is society.
But scheduling update. We have changed some things around. Next week, the plans have changed. The order has shifted. Next week, we begin the Snyder Cut.
As per financial demands placed on our Buy Me a Coffee.
Yes, by a mysterious figure known as PogChamp.
Yeah, we figured that we should probably watch it now while people are talking about it, so we can get a couple more eyeballs on it, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, apologies to those who are looking forward to us reviewing that Estonian film, or the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that will be coming after this, but for now we are we're bumping this up just to try and capture the zeitgeist as fast as we can.
And also, we're doing a two-parter, right?
Yes, of course. We're not wild animals. We're not going to watch it all in one sitting. So next go around, next week, God willing, we will watch the first part of the Snyder Cut.
The first 2 hours.
Yes, of this behemoth of a movie. May God rest our soul. And then we'll come back and we'll watch the other 2. It'll be a real weird conversation if we decide to tune out on this first 2 hours.
I think we might.
But we'll see. But that's all for Gundam and for Podcast The Origin.
I think it's very possible.
We'll be back to regular bonus episodes. But until then, keep piloting. Bye. It's over.
You will experience the battlefield of new types.
Hey folks, time for the Gundam Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster is Bright Noah?
That's true. I'm the best father in the series.